Welcome everybody to Preparation for WHS510. Just some general housekeeping. Firstly, this session will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube. The aim of this session will be to give you the tools to put together 2 professional assessments. So what do we have to do? For this assessment, you will need to prepare, develop and complete the following: an emergency risk register, pre-drill preparation checklist, carry out an emergency evacuation drill, complete a run sheet for your drill with each of the operations having an individual time. Then develop and complete an emergency debrief checklist. This is all the key documents that are required. Please use the Word document template from your assessment to place your answers against each question. Now let's go to the WHS Research Centre. Here we'll need to click on the Compliance tab for your state or territory. Then going down the left-hand side, under the heading Learning Resources, here we will find the Emergency Procedures templates. These are all there with samples of entries into each. Remember to complete and fill in each of these documents, with the Chief Warden and Senior Manager signing off each document. Now let's go and find the Australian Standard 3745. The next slide shows us the welcome page for TAFE Digital Research Centre. We can see that Safe Work Australia tab is in red. That indicates that we've found the right site. Here we find in the centre of Safe Work Australia a very known logo of Australia's standards, the 5 ticks. Now we click on the blue heading that indicates TAFE Digital Library e-resource. Always remember to log out at the end of your session. We have 5 licenses, and if you forget to log out, the next student that comes on to the license you were on will have to wait 3 hours to get on. So good housekeeping is important. The next slide shows us where we need to log in. The login details we'll use are those that we use to get onto the OLS, your DET username and password. Next slide indicates that we've been successful. So all we need to do here is click on Continue. Our next slide shows us a split screen. where there's two areas. The first, we need to carefully and accurately type in AS/3745. The second screenshot shows us where to log out. The next screenshot is also split between two key areas. The top one shows us the result of what we've been looking for. Here we click on the legend, View Document. What we see below is the result that we can now open our document, remembering to log out when we are finished. This document can be viewed on many occasions. Just going back in, having a look what we need, logging out, allowing other students access to this site, as ASI Global covers many units within our courses. Now we come to the second assessment. The second assessment is based around Clause 43 of the regulations, duty to prepare and maintain an emergency plan. But this falls within the context of our report writing skills. Here we need to prepare our report by having a cover page with student name, student number, unit name and unit number. A table or page of contents with page numbers is required. An executive summary which explains the purpose of the report, what the report is trying to achieve as far as compliance with health and safety legislation within your state. Briefly list your recommendations, corrective actions required to improve the emergency response and determined by the findings of your emergency response drill and run sheet. Also include your conclusion. Then we move on to number 2, introduction and background. Write briefly introduction that describes the workplace where the emergency procedure will apply. Provide all relevant information such as the company, what the company produces or constructs, the nature and physical environment and the number of workers. Then we move on to the purpose of the risk register. Explain the needs and aims and objectives of the emergency register that you have developed in Assessment 1. Attach this to your report, quoting the relevant state regulations, and under WHS we're talking about Clause 43.3. A heading which is missed on many occasions is research and methodology. This is important that you show the reader and explain what research was conducted to prepare the emergency risk register, pre-drill preparation checklist, run sheet, and debriefing checklist. Consultation processes with line managers and workers. Your emergency drill exercise can be cut and paste from your First assessment. Number 6, recommendations. Explain what corrective actions the PCBU needs to take to ensure that appropriate and effective emergency response plans are developed, implemented, monitored, and evaluated and reviewed to ensure compliance and continue improvement of the emergency preparedness and response, especially in meeting the benchmarks are the Australian Standard 3745, Planning for Emergency Facilities, and the Code of Practice, Section 5, the Emergency Plans. Our conclusion supports the recommendations and the overall purpose of the report. Our bibliography reference list must have 10 references. You need to attach your appendices from the first assessment, and they are Emergency Risk Register, Pre-Drill Checklist, and the Emergency Debrief Checklist. Now, we need to go back to your WHS Research Centre under the Compliance tab for your state or territory. And under Learning Resources, you will find a link to emergency plans. Coupled with the Australian Standard 3745, these two key areas are the basis for this assessment. This can be located and used as many times as required. Now to the most important slide. When in doubt, please ring or email your WHS teacher. If you've got the time, book a 15-minute tutorial. Are there any questions? With there being none, all that's left to do is to thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.